Alright, so these are your hurricane notes. Go to Schoology, click on the pink folder, download the Word document, and it's going to be 8.10c Hurricane SDI Notes. So first thing, write down 2 things you think you already know about hurricanes. So any 2 things, it could be maybe you have some personal experiences with hurricanes, like in the past, or maybe something you saw on TV. Just write down any 2 things about hurricanes. Alright, so today's class, new vocabulary word, we're going to be talking about hurricanes. So what are hurricanes? They're rapidly rotating storms with a low pressure center that form over oceans and bring strong winds and heavy thunderstorms. So what did I tell you guys about low pressure or low pressure systems? It brings what kind of weather? Bad weather. So low pressure systems bring bad weather like rains, thunderstorms, but low pressure systems can also make hurricanes. Low pressure systems make hurricanes. So go ahead and copy down your notes, pause the video if you need to. Alright, so here's my ocean. When my ocean is very warm, it makes the air above the ocean very warm. What happens with warm air? Is warm air heavier or lighter? Warm air is lighter. So the atoms, air molecules, have more energy, they're further apart, making the air lighter, and the air is going to start rising. So remember what I said about low pressure systems? Low pressure systems have rising air. Alright, so the air is rising up. So as the air rises up, because of the hot water and the hot air above it, it starts pulling air towards it. Okay, towards it. And starts pulling everything up. As it pulls it up, it starts circulating like this. So you have the center of the hurricane where the low pressure is, and it starts circulating like this. That center part is the eye of the storm. This is the side view of a hurricane. But from the top view, you have a hole in the middle where the low pressure is, and the hurricane spiraling around it. Alright? So in the low pressure center, the air is rising up towards the sky, cycling down like this. Alright? At the same time as the hot air is going up, it's also rotating this direction. Okay? So in the center, you have your low pressure center of the hurricane that's fueled by warm water and warm tropical air. Alright, main points with details of today's topic. Factors needed to form a hurricane. So what do you need? You need your low pressure. You need your low pressure system. Alright, you need warm or hot ocean water temperatures. Tropical areas. Where do hurricanes form? Around the equator. Warm, moist air that evaporates. So as the warm oceans, what happens to hot water? Or warm oceans, what happens to water when it gets warm? It starts evaporating. So that's rising. When air and water vapor rises, that creates low pressure. So you need low pressure because the atoms or the molecules of water and the air are rising up. So you need warm, moist air that evaporated from the oceans. Alright, let's watch our videos. there will be questions from the videos
To
on
understand why the
the
US
test.
coastline is so vulnerable to hurricane strike, we have to travel over 4,000 miles east to the place where hurricanes are born. Most hurricanes in the Atlantic begin as very small atmospheric disturbances in a jet stream that flows from east to west over sub-Saharan Africa. Scientists call this disturbance an easterly wave.
What triggers the development of an easterly wave could be anything. Could be
My battery's about to die, so watch the
Trigger
videos on
dust
YouTube. Okay?
devil,
I'll put the links for both
perturbs
videos on
the
YouTube.
atmosphere downstream in such a way that you get one of these waves.
The easterly wave creates a system of turbulent eddies, which go on to develop into a cluster of thunderstorms. These travel west across the African continent, and then encounter the warm tropical waters of the Atlantic.
One begins to see on satellite pictures is that these thunderstorms appear to become better organized and begin to rotate around each other. The rotation rate increases, storms become more vigorous, and winds continue to increase.
The storm rapidly gathers strength and develops into a hurricane, feeding off the warm, moist air coming from the ocean.
The heat is coming out of the ocean. The hurricane heat engine converts that heat energy into the mechanical energy of the winds. And that's what's powering the storm. When the winds reach typically around 70 miles per hour, the storm may develop an eye, surrounded by an eye wall, which is a region of very intense heat and the strongest winds. And you're off and running.
These are the hurricanes that make landfall on the US every year, causing enormous damage.
Alright, now we're going to watch the next video. Once again, you can watch these videos again as many times as you want on YouTube. I'll put the links up. Let's get a commercial.
Violent winds, driving rain, killer waves. These are the hallmarks of a hurricane. Also called cyclones or typhoons, hurricanes are giant storms prowling the world's tropical seas. An average hurricane releases as much energy in a day as the explosion of 500,000 small atomic bombs. Hurricanes form in the summer and fall when the sun heats vast stretches of tropical ocean to over 82 degrees. Warm, moist air rises over these hot spots, creating thunderstorms. Upper-level winds and surface winds then come together, forming a circular pattern of clouds known as a tropical depression. When the winds exceed 39 miles per hour, a tropical storm has developed. When the winds reach 74 miles per hour, a hurricane is officially born. Inside the storm, bands of rain up to 300 miles long meet in the eye wall.
The low pressure gets sucked up.
Here, winds of up to 200 miles per hour
And it's spinning
spiral
at the same
upward.
time.
Within the center of the hurricane, downdrafts of dry air create a strangely calm area called the eye. Fully formed, a hurricane may stretch over 500 miles in diameter. That's a storm nearly the size of Texas and reach a height of 9 miles. Most of these storms spin out over the open sea, but in an average year, 2 or 3 will strike the mainland of North America. And when they do, the damage can be catastrophic. Most dangerous is the storm surge, a wall of water that sweeps across the coastline where a hurricane makes landfall. About 4...
Alright, so go ahead and finish watching the video on YouTube. We're just going to look at this last question. When is the hurricane predicted to make landfall? Landfall is when the hurricane reaches land. So one thing about hurricanes, as soon as they hit land and leave water, they start to die. they start to lose the energy. The energy that fuels hurricanes is warm water. So what makes the water warm? Solar radiation. So heat from the sun warms the water. The warm water fuels, gives energy to the hurricanes. So hurricanes need warm water. So whenever hurricanes make landfall, they begin to lose energy and die. That's going to be on the test.